Loud and clear. Alright, cool. So, what I was going to say about Riven and top lane is that obviously there's multiple ways you can go about going top lane. You can go Doran's Blade, you can go Boots 3, or Clock 5. And there are cases in which, you know, all of those make more sense than another. Doran's Blade, I very rarely use it, just because it removes a certain amount of mobility, and on top of that it removes the fact that you don't have sustain. If you're going Doran's, it's because you're confident you're going to win your lane, you're going to kill the person level 1 maybe 2. You're going to kill them extremely early, and you do not need to sustain in between that. So that means you're not even going to, like, you're just going to crush them and they have nothing they can do about it. Like, I still prefer going Boots generally, because even if the person in front of you isn't necessarily super strong, if they have a mobile jungler, like say a Lee Sin, you probably want to have Boots. Even if in front of you is like a Gangplank, who is going to Q you very often, and you're thinking, I could go Clot 5. There are exceptions, and that's when you know, if you know the intentions of the enemy jungler, which doesn't always happen, you can change that up. And the Clot 5 build is interesting for a couple of reasons. You'll go Clot 5 because you think you're not going to be able to win, you're just going to be able to trade in and out. However, you can go Clot 5 and go and do an early camp. And I mean like one of the jungle camps before you get to lane. You might miss like a creep or two in the end. But the point is, you can go rates, double golems, like enemy rates, stuff like that. Like it doesn't matter really, but you try and do something that will not hurt your jungler, obviously, and that will give you an advantage. You're gonna have to use usually one potion. You need armor yellows and armor from masteries, and you'll do pretty fine, considering you have super high health regen. Now, I think we can just get into the actual matchup part. Now, I know Wombo wanted to look at the Vlad matchup. We'll look at the Yorick matchup first, though, since we were talking about that one. So I'm gonna make a custom game. Oh god. What the Wombo, you're creating a custom game. I'll invite you if you just leave that. Apparently you are. That's what it says. Creating custom.
I'll have to relog then.
Yeah, you'll have to relog. Yeah. Okay, so just gonna get our other friend in here. There we go. Okay, so I guess you can stay on my side, so you have like the perspective of Riven. Although, do you have Yorick, Merker? Because otherwise we're gonna have a hard time doing this.
Yeah, I got him.
Okay, you know how to play Yorick basically.
Pretty much.
Okay, press buttons. It hurts the enemy. Eventually, they kind of die.
Basically, yeah. Wait a while, you'll kill something eventually.
Okay, so Wombo doesn't know how to play Yorick. You do know how to play Riven a little bit, though, right? So that's cool. Let me just... whatever. Fuck it. Cam on. Let's do it. So, unfortunately we don't have the dog in the background. Usually he's just sleeping over there, but we don't this time. It's cool. Okay, so... so Yorick, obviously, it's just all about using the E to sustain, using the W to slow, and then get maybe a few autos off and whatnot. I find most people have issues with Riven, and with Riven I mean as playing her, is when they don't realize how strong Riven is, and how scary she can be. Now, yesterday you played the Yorick matchup as Riven. What were your summoner spells and his summoner spells?
That's a good question. Let me see if I can find the match history. I had Flash on it, Flash Ignite, yeah. He did too, I think.
You lost this game?
I think so.
Yeah, he had Flash Ignite.
Okay.
Okay, so he had Flash Ignite, which is very common. That's totally fine. You will see certain Yoricks go TP, but that's more when you're looking to be very team oriented, make good plays on Dragon with your ultimate and stuff like that. But Yorick definitely does have kill potential in lane, especially with Ignite. Even without Ignite. But Ignite does definitely help quite a bit. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to run Ignite Flash. I'm going to run 21-9. Actually, I'm going to run 22-8, actually. Oh, well... So, okay, so Wombo's saying I run 22-7-1 sometimes. I will never just get the Flash, honestly. I don't know. It's like, it's already long cooldown. Obviously, it could really help to get Flash in like a clutch situation. Like, you'll have Flash up. It's like, yay, cool. I get Flash and I can actually Flash away. But, I mean, ideally, you'll never even expend Flash, so... I'll just invite another person just as like a placeholder. That's willing to just... There we go. So now tower HP is going to be equal. Okay, so cool. So yeah, I'll run 22-8-0. I will go full offense, like on the full left side, but I will not get the crit mastery. Because very rare is it that I'll even make like a Yomu's Ghostblade. Maybe Brutalizer, but not necessarily like Yomu's Ghostblade. The page I run is basically all the left side except the crit mastery and take out 2 points out of vampirism. I only put 1% in that. And the reasoning behind it is I will auto attack with Riven, but that's not my point. Like, that's not what I'm going to do, and that's not what she does. So it's kind of useless to have tons of like lifesteal. I will get plenty of lifesteal anyways when I need it. So 1% is just basically so I actually have lifesteal before I say get a Doran's Blade or whatnot. And otherwise I run the 3 armor, I run the 2 for tough skin to reduce damage from minions and monsters. Like, this looks almost like... People would think you can neglect this, but you cannot. You can't neglect this. And I take the 3 in Vigor, so I get even more health regen. So her health regen is really high. And basically, now if you calculate, I removed 1 point from Lethality and 2 points from Vampirism. So I put 4 points, because I have 4 points remaining, into Sorcery to get the 4% cooldown reduction. which is rather minimal, but as an AD bruiser, like an AD caster, you don't have tons of means to getting cooldown, except if you build into kind of tanky items, and there's a lot you can't go because they give you mana stats that you can't use on Riven. So she's super limited, unless obviously you go, say, Ionians, Randuins, and like Yomus. That's like pretty much the build you could go. But it doesn't make enough sense to do all of that. Especially, I'd say, the Yomus. The Omen can make a lot of sense, the Ionians can work, but other than that, I would not recommend it. And for runes, in this case, I'm versus Yorick, who does a lot of magic damage early. So I might consider going flat MR instead of scaling MR. I would go yellows, our armor, and the rest is all AD, all flat AD. So I'm going to I'll try it with full flat MR, which will mitigate a bit more of the damage from the ghouls, which is cool. But other than that, obviously you still have your Q and your auto attacks and the minions and all that, but I'm basically ready for the matchup if I'm going in like this. So are you ready? I would go and I'd start this up.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Okay, so Wombo's ready. All good.
What is
Riven.
broken can be reforged.
It's all good. Just the one in vampirism. Get the vigor. To further my health regen. Get the early MR, as I said. Okay, so I could choose to go heal, but I won't because I said we wouldn't do that. But I could choose to go heal ignite. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's still kind of good, and it would definitely make it kind of easier for me to get a kill. I could also go at this point cloth 5 or boots basically. I would not necessarily want to go Doran's Blade, although it could work. So alright. That's going to be it for the theory part. Wasn't super long, but not really a problem. I'll just continue on with the actual like in practice.